Hey, what's good? Welcome to Quam's Corner. I'm your host, Saint Quam, and today we're going to be talking about rappers and their basketball player equivalents. There's always been a link between basketball and hip hop culture, with basketball players being influenced by the fashion and attitude of rappers, to rappers having many quotable lines and even full songs about hooping or tributes to basketball players. It's often a debate who's the Michael Jordan of rap. Today, we're going to take a look into a few rappers and their basketball player equivalents and talk about the reasons why I made these picks. So let's dive right in. So the first pair that we're going to talk about is 50 Cent and Shaq. When you think about Shaquille O'Neal, you think about dominance, and for a good period in rap, you would say the same about 50 Cent. Shaq was at the height of his powers in the early 2000s when him, Kobe, and the rest of the Lakers went on their legendary three-peat. And in 2003, when 50 Cent released his debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying, he began a similar era of dominance in the rap game. Both of them had very high impact in their domains and changed the playing field for the competition. They were both strong leaders, and it was never a question who was the head honcho for either of the two. Another similarity I see between Shaq and 50 is that despite both of them being so dominant individually, they had strong teams around them. Shaq not only had Kobe, Fisher, Fox, and a few others, he also had the masterminds Phil Jackson calling plays and Jerry Buss behind the scenes. In the same way, 50 Cent rapped with Eminem, Young Buck, Lloyd Banks, The Game, and other members of his G-Unit squad, but he also had hip-hop mastermind Dr. Dre producing and Jimmy Iovine pulling strings in the industry. The last thing we'll look at is the argument of longevity. Both of them were stars and were shining bright at their peak, but didn't stay at the top as long as some other legends in their game. But both of them turned themselves into formidable businessmen after they retired. The next pair we're going to look at is Drake and LeBron. So Drake has been one of the most consistent and enduring rappers in the game, and you can say the same about LeBron James on the basketball court. Both have stats that might not be duplicated anytime soon and show no signs of slowing down. I think an interesting parallel between Drizzy and King James is that they're both redefining what it means to be the best and have both received ample amounts of hate for deviating from expectations. When Drake first came onto the scene, he was chastised for being too soft to claim the title of best rapper, but his ear for melody and commercial appeal has helped him dominate the charts like no other before him. LeBron was expected to be an assassin like Michael or Kobe, but would instead opt for the right play, even if that meant passing up a game-winning shot. But that mentality has helped him be the engine behind several championship-winning teams with completely different casts. They both brought their childhood friends along for the ride to success and built formidable business teams around them in the process. And lastly, despite both of them being in the GOAT conversation, they both sustained losses that to some have scarred their legacy in comparison to their predecessors. For James, it was his 2011 finals meltdown against the Mavs, and for Drake, it was his loss to Pusha T in the highly publicized rap beef. But as a testament to their lasting power and drive, they both pushed past those losses and racked up more wins than anyone could have ever expected. The next pair to examine is Eminem and Larry Bird. The first and most obvious parallel between these two is that they're both white guys that came to dominate in predominantly black games and knock down the door for future stars similar to them to shine. It's rare that you find a situation where being white can be a disadvantage in a career, but that's the uphill battle that Eminem had to face when he wanted to break into the scene as a rapper. Because of the perceptions of artists like Vanilla Ice, hip-hop fans in general didn't really think that a white rapper could really fit into the culture or be considered the best. In the same way, the movie White Men Can't Jump exemplified the attitude that basketball fans had towards white players. They always felt more athletic black players would always have an advantage. And that's where both of them came in to dominate with their skill sets. Bird was a sharpshooter and an elite passer, and Eminem was an elite lyricist and an imaginative song composer. They both reached the heights in their respective games and paved the way for future generations. Even though both of them are considered legends, I know some people that don't rank Larry Bird that high because of some of his low stats, and there are people that claim that they don't really care for Eminem's music. But in my opinion, they're both who they are because their talents were undeniable. My next comparison is between Kanye and Kobe. So these two were aware of the similarities between them and even shot a commercial together. The reason why I feel like Kanye is the Kobe of the rap game is because of his unshakable confidence in himself. A confidence that was cemented through hours of work and perfecting his craft. On Kanye's song Spaceships, he had a line, "Lock yourself in a room making 5 beats a day for 3 summers." And if that's not an example of Mamba mentality, I don't know what is. Kobe also possessed a high level of confidence in his ability to perform on the highest stage because he knew that he put the work in. He would routinely put up 1,000 shots a day, and there are countless stories from players and coaches about Kobe's work ethic. These two are similar because they both foreshadowed their greatness. Kobe didn't come into the league as a #1 draft pick that everyone expected to be the next Michael Jordan, but he always spoke highly of himself and the belief in his greatness, and he worked his way up to being one of the best players that the league has ever seen. In the same way, Kanye was known as a producer and did not have expectations of becoming a huge rap star, and even before the world knew who he was in record label offices standing on tables proclaiming his greatness, and he lived up to his word. The last area where I can draw a parallel is in their impact outside of their respective games. Kanye went on to influence the fashion world and had some of the most popular sneakers in the culture and has been an all-round global icon outside of music. Kobe, in the same way, is adored by fans across the globe for work that he's done outside of basketball, and he even won an Oscar for the best animated short film for the work that he did in the media industry. With both of them being so influential, it's hard to believe that Kobe is no longer here with us. So I just want to end this segment by saying RIP to the Black Mamba. And now we have the Michael Jordan of rap, Jay-Z. So Jay has called himself the Michael Jordan of rap and made several comparisons to the player in his lyrics. On his track Show Me What You Got, he proclaimed, "I'm the Mike Jordan of recording. You might want to fall back from recording," and has many other references. Michael famously retired from basketball at the peak of his powers to go and play baseball, only to return 2 years later and accomplish another three-peat. On his song Encore, Jay rapped, "When I come back like Jordan wearing the 4-5, it ain't to play games with you, it's to aim at you." He retired right after dropping the Black Album, only to return to the game and drop more classics for the culture. The next reason why these two are so similar is that despite being widely known as the best in their respective games, they went on to dominate the world of business as well, garnering large fortunes in the process, both accomplishing the rare feat of becoming the first billionaire players in their respective games. In Jordan's case, it was through his lucrative partnership with Nike, producing his iconic Air Jordan sneaker line. And although Jay-Z was one of the first rappers with his own signature shoe with Reebok, it was through a variety of lucrative business deals where he was selling his stakes in businesses such as Rocawear, Armand Brignac, or Ace of Spades, and Tidal as well. Both of them are considered by many to be the GOATs in their games and are consistently mentioned in debates about newer generations of talent. But I think a lot of people still assume that they're the best. So that wraps up my list of rappers and their basketball player equivalents. Let me know what you think about the list in the comments and if there are any other comparisons that you think I missed out. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, peace.